thing that always been, I think, I believe a taboo for a lot of people is when people have allergies for things. Like, I can just imagine when you were younger and you had these, you developed these allergies in food. How did they view that? Because I remember when somebody had an allergy, like they couldn't eat like gluten or something. They were like, "Oh, you're just making this up," and it's almost like they didn't care. How did first? How did you take it, and how bad was it when you were growing up?
So, growing up, I had no idea that I had this allergy. I was sickly, you know, I didn't have the greatest immune system. Hold on one second. I didn't have the greatest immune system, and I was like unwell for not all the time, but more often than the average person, right? And then when I was about 18, I went to 18, 19, I went to Australia, and I went on my own. It was my first time traveling on my own somewhere, and I wanted to save money, so I made sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just sandwiches. Just bought a big loaf of bread, a bunch of meat, you know, like deli meats, because I ate meat at the time, cheeses, and tomatoes, lettuce, and onion, and just made a bunch of sandwiches every day, morning, noon, and night. And I felt horrible. I was super sick, and I didn't know why. And I remember getting back home and going to my doctor, and not my doctor, a new doctor, and I wrote out my medical history, like every time that I had been sick that I could remember, and just as many details as I could think of, because I was so at my wit's end. I had spent so much money to go to Australia just to be sick there. I had a great time, but I was sick. I was uncomfortable, and so I wrote it all out, and I remember him being like, just tell me, like, I don't want to read this. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, I'm writing this to you because I'm tired of being overlooked and not getting my answers. Like, read it, and I'm going to sit right here, and you will read it. I'm paying you, read it. Because at the time I didn't have insurance or anything. I was literally paying like $150 for the visit. I'm like, read my letter. So he reads it. And immediately he goes, which is so great, like, thank God he read it. He goes, you might be allergic to wheat, because it sounds like a gluten allergy to me. And I was like, oh, wow, no one's ever told me that before. Thank you for reading.
How old were you?
It was like 18, 19.
Okay.
And gluten is in everything. It's cakes, it's cereals, it's sauces, it's bread, it's every bread, it's crackers, it's a lot of chips.
You were eating this normally.
And I was eating it like crazy. I would eat a box of Kraft mac and cheese when I got home from school every day, and then eat a dinner that my mom and dad made that was full of wheat. And my mom bought Entenmann's cake, so I wasn't just eating wheat. I was eating highly processed Hot Pockets, Pop-Tarts, toaster strudels, bagel bites, Count Chocula cereal, Captain Crunch cereal, what other stuff? Cookie Crisp. My mom didn't know. She didn't realize like all these highly processed things are terrible for your kids to eat. She was born in an era where that stuff didn't exist. It came about. No one was marketing it as you need to go organic, you need to be healthy, you shouldn't eat this. No one was talking about that back then. No one was talking about what is blue 95 and red 51. No one. There was no knowledge whatsoever about this to the public eye. You had to literally go to Barnes & Noble and look up a book and figure it out for yourself. There was no internet for her to search. There was no Google, you get me? There was no friends enlightening her. So she thought she was doing good by packing our pantry with everything that we like to eat. She'd pick a cereal for, I have three brothers, one sister. She'd pick a cereal for each of us. She'd pick a cake for each of us. She'd pick like a frozen thing for each of us. Each of us got to pick our own Hot Pocket, stuff like that. So I think not only did I become allergic to this because it's actually in my genes. I found out later. My sister also found out later. My sister's allergic to gluten. I found out later that a lot of the things that happened to me would happen to my grandma, so she probably was allergic to gluten. So it was not only genetically in me, but if you poke the bear and you keep eating the thing that you're not supposed to be eating, and you're eating a highly processed version of it with tons of chemicals that are bad for anyone anyway, you destroy you destroy your organs, like the things that are supposed to keep you running get tired and they start to turn on you because begin to react much more ferociously and fiercely and horribly to the thing that they've been dying for you to stop, literally dying for you to stop eating. So I had to go through this transition of cutting these things out. It was very sad because pasta was my favorite food on earth. Back then there were no good gluten-free options. Everything tasted like cardboard and crap. My parents still cannot, to this day, I am 35 years old and this was 19. My parents still cannot remember what I'm allergic to. My brother still mocks me all the time. We'll still put in flour into things that he didn't need to put in flour, then now I cannot eat, and we'll just say we're not going to stop making stuff the way we make it just for one person. Literally, like this is the stuff, and I love my brother and I love my parents, but this is the stuff that is like normalized behavior. You go to a restaurant that has a gluten-free option and you say, this is what I want. Oh, we're out of that. Like, dude, I just came here because you say you have this and now I have to go somewhere else. Or like servers just being whack and not doing what I asked them to do, or looking at me like I'm being problematic because I'm asking them to change something up, like use fries instead of bread, use chips instead of bread, please make me eggs Benedict without the bread, things like that. And they're like, why? Like, are you crazy? Or just generally people acting like I'm making it up. Or because like maybe I might cheat here and there. Like I'm not like, I don't need an EpiPen. If I eat it, I'm just gonna feel bad. So once in a while, I will have some artichoke pizza from New York because I love it, you know, and I'll take the pain. Once in a while, you'll see me like sneak a couple scoops of some delicious pasta. But do I wish I could eat the whole bowl? Do I wish I could eat 6 slices of pizza and not die? Sure, I would love that. But I'm gonna feel horrible if I do that. And so it's frustrating and it sucks, and you know.
What's your, like when you eat gluten or things you're allergic to? 2 questions. What is the normal reaction? How sick do you get, and when do you start turning into being more of that, taking that turn to becoming a vegetarian?
We'll need a whole episode for what happens, because I think that it would be good for me to expose other women to this, because I don't think I'm the only one who suffers from this.
Though when I wait for Autumn for that.
Though when I went to the doctors, after even the doctor told me this is happening to you because of a wheat allergy, so many doctors after that guy, because that guy's no longer, I don't know where he went, but he's no longer here. So many doctors after that told me there's no correlation between those symptoms and eating wheat. I've never heard of that before. I've had one doctor say to me, oh, you're like the girl in the bubble, you're too young to be experiencing this. I've had all kinds of crazy effed up bedside manner with doctors. It's beyond me. I finally found a doctor who understood it completely, who has had so many clients with the same symptoms, the same problem, who they all think they're cursed, they all come in crying, they all don't understand. But it's kind of personal, but basically, yeah, I think I'd rather do a separate thing on my reactions to it, where we do like a women's, let's talk about women's.
Yeah,
but it's women's, it's a women's reaction. Yeah. Like it's like I guess I'll say I get UTIs or I get yeast infections, which sucks.
Oh, damn. Yeah. So that would be definitely, because again, there's a lot of ignorance. Like, you know, they don't understand how severe it gets. Mm-hmm. You know, and we need to understand, like, and we gotta stand for our women too, man. Like, think about it. What are men without their ladies? If we don't know how to take care of them, there could be thousands of you out there.
There are, because I've on Instagram now, because I bought like some, you know, not preventive care, aftercare things, like once it's here, I want to feel better. I've bought some things, so now my algorithm's set up to show me every account that sells something for UTIs and yeast infections, and there's so many women who are suffering, so many.
We definitely got to make a chapter about that. I think it's very important.
So many women who are suffering from this, so much more than ever before. Like if you ask older women, oh, how many yeast infections have you gotten in your life? 1, 2. Now it's like 6, 7. I gotta be careful on how many antibiotics I take, because you're only supposed to take it 9 times in the year, and I've effectively been prescribed an antibiotic 3 times for UTIs, 3 times in 1 year. Like, and then the antibiotics work against you, and then they don't work. and they can cause a yeast infection if you have a UTI. It's like, it's insane. It goes on, and so that's why I said, like, we could do that some other time, but I think it's not, like my doctor said to me, thank God every day that you have this allergy, because the way the wheat is processed in this country, from seed to sprout to the packaging to your plate, is poison. It's poison for everyone. So you are saving yourself by not eating that from so many other ailments and so many other long-term diseases that creep in little by little as you keep eating this highly processed ingredient. You go to another country and you eat their wheat, and you're not going to feel as bad. So there's a lot of people who are becoming lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, egg intolerant, who are developing allergies that have skyrocketed more than 300% in the last 10 years. And it's because of the process, it's because of the chemicals, it's because of the sprays, it's because of the GMOs, it's because of all kinds of things. So it's not just me and my little genetics that didn't help the situation. It's also, what have you been eating all your life? What have you been, what have you been exposing yourself to? What levels of pollution is in the air that's also depleting your immune system and making it start to fight back? It's our bodies saying enough is enough.
Definitely.